Um, I hope that the session was really good, guys, and I hope you have learned a lot of things on CI/CD pipelines. When you start doing DevOps or in the senior part of your software engineering, you know the value of CI/CD pipeline. That's really important. But let's get into the topic that is second phase of this session, which is Wikimedia Fabricator. So anybody who knows about Fabricator can type it in the chat box. Can you tell me what is Wikimedia Fabricator or what the Fabricator is? Cool. So Fabricator is an open source platform for collaboration. We generally it's a collaborative platform for Wikimedia. Yes. So basically, we use this issue tracking platform to it's a ticket and issue generating platform. That if we have any issues or ticket, we can generate it through Wikimedia Fabricator that we have. We have fabricator.wikimedia.org for that. Let me share my screen and show you the Fabricator. Cool. So this is the main Fabricator. You have to log in to a main central account, and then you have to make account on Fabricator .wikimedia.org, and you will land up to this page. You will see a lot of first is your profile, and you will see a lot of options here. So this is the activity is your section. So you have to come to this good first newcomer task. When you click on this, you will see a lot of tasks here. So good first task, you can of course see good first task if you're contributing for the first time. So feel free to experiment around that. But Agamya on the second part will be telling you what not to do and what to do during this good first task. I'll click on the first task. So basically it's a bug. You can subscribe to this task by going here, and you can read more instruction about this task, and you can start contributing to this task. But wait for a while, we will be telling you how to contribute and how to get started with this task. We also have a global search option. So for example, if I search welcome patch welcome, it's a tag for similar to good first task. So you will see all the welcome first task is listed here, which you can of course see if you're contributing for the first time. Then you have a notification system here in Phabricator. Cool. Um, we also have a Road to Wiki Club Tech Fabricator board. So if you see a lot of people who are contributing from our Road to Wiki program have been listed to this board. We will be telling you how to do this very soon. But once you contribute and your task is merged, we will be telling you how to contribute on this. So this is our Road to Wiki workboard. Cool. I think that was clear about Fabricator. Let's go to the next slide. Cool. We have Aditya with us, who is a contributor to open source working for Wiki Club Tech, and who will be taking you through a journey of Gerrit, uh, how this Gerrit work in Fabric in our ecosystem. I forgot to mention we also have if you have heard about Elasticsearch, we also have a analytic platform based on Elasticsearch, what we call at in Wikimedia, bitter.io. So you will see a lot of tasks which is mentioned here in our Wikimedia ecosystem. If I click on get it, cool. So you'll see a lot of analytics we have, and as it is based on Elasticsearch. So if I click on this specific value, you will see a lot of this is top contributor and commit that we have, and all the tasks listed. A lot of information that we index. This is one of a kind that we index. So if I click on Phabricator, you will see a lot of tasks that we have. Right click on Wikimedia Foundation. So these are the some tasks that we have right now. Cool. Hopping back to the slide, we have Aditya with us. Aditya, if you can start your session on get it.
Yeah, hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I would like to share my screen. Okay, all right. So very good evening to all of you. I'm really happy to see you all here today. I'm Aditya. Currently, I'm open source mentor and also maintainer of the Grid tools and working on two tools. Okay. So today we are going to talk about Git, Gerrit, and SSH key setup, like which together form a core version control and like review system that is used by Wikimedia Foundation. So don't worry. Okay, like maybe some terms like Git, Gerrit can be complex for you. By the end of this session, you will clearly understand what they are, why we use them, and how they work together. All right. So, like this is the Gerrit dashboard. Maybe some of you are very confusing. What is this? Like, we have seen GitHub, we have seen like GitLab. I don't know whether some of you have like heard about the GitLab or not, but this can be complexity for you to understand. Like, what is this exactly? Yeah. Yes, sir.
Sorry, Aditya, to intervene. Just one thing, guys. This section is very, very, very important. So if you can make a note of it, it is very important because this is our setup guide. We will be telling you how to set up your SSH key. So if you can do the same on your computer at the same time, or if you can make a note of it. So everything is linked up to developer playbook that we have showed yesterday. Plus, I've also showed an email. So please keep this in mind. Today's this session is very important. So if somebody doesn't join, so please ask them to join. And if they have leave this session after this call, so please ask them to join because this session is very important. As we will be discussing something very important which will be using in future. We will be using in future. Yeah. Please continue, Aditya. Sorry for that.
Yeah, it's fine. Thank you, sir. Okay. All right. Yeah. So we were talking about Gary. So like maybe this dashboard can be complex for all of you. Like what is this missing? This CRV, updated size, like branch. So many things is there. Okay, it's in one view. So anyway, don't worry. I will let you know at the end of the session. Okay. So we'll break down how Git, Gerrit, and SSH authentication interact with each other, and with a special focus on like gerrit.wikimedia.org. So think of it like Git is where you write and save your work. Maybe some of you have already heard about the what is Git, how it works. And Gerrit is where others review your work. And what SSH keys is doing here, SSH keys are how you securely prove your identity. Okay, so let's talk about Git. What is Git? If somebody has not installed, you can install after of this like the end of this meeting. Okay, so Git is basically it's a distributed version control system. Like this means every developer has a full copy of the project of their own computer. And why Git is important? So you all know about like a local copy. You can work offline anytime. History tracking can be there. Every change is like saved as a commit. And safe experiments, like you can create branches and test ideas without breaking the main code. If you want to like test something, like you have simply cloned the any repo from the Wikimedia, then you want to test anything, like you can do that. Like that's a safe experiment. And to connect Git with Gerrit, we use a tool that's called Git Review, which makes the process simple. Now let's talk about what is Gerrit. We'll configure Git. Okay, how Gerrit works? What is Gerrit? Gerrit is a basically web-based code review system. Listen carefully. It's a web-based code review system. That means you will push your repo there if you are contributing on any project that is under the Wikimedia ecosystem. Like maintainers are there, they will review your code, and then if some recommendations, some changes will be there, they will suggest you. Okay, so while Git manages your code history, so Gerrit manages quality and security. When you push code to Wikimedia, you do not push directly to the main branch. Some of you have heard about like some old people, those who have already contributed to the Wikimedia ecosystem. You generally use reps slash for slash master. It means instead you push to a special reference like ref for master. You are not pushing your code to the main branch. Once like your code will review, they will push it to the main branch. Okay. So Gerrit adds a unique change ID to your commit message. Like it helps Gerrit track multiple updates to the same changes, patch set. You will come to know about this. Okay. Now let's come to the how you can create account on Gerrit. So for this, I would like to walk through with the developer playbook. So I'm so sharing this link here. Just open this. Let me see. Share the full screen. 1 minute. All right. Yeah. So here's the developer playbook. Okay, you can walk through with the video resources, media installation that you have already done. I know. Okay. Just click on download. You will find a book here. So just strictly, I'm recommending you all, you have to follow this developer playbook if you want to contribute on the media ecosystem. Like you can go with all these variables, data types. This is the basic thing. Okay, you must have understood about this. Now I'll start from here. Git basics. You can also learn from here. And let me go to the point. Create a new database. All right. So how you can create account on Gerrit? Just go through with this link. Create Wikimedia developer account. If you want to contribute on the like via the Gerrit, then you need a developer account. So for this, just click on this link, and here you can read all those things. Cloud VPS. I'm not going there. Okay, just click on this Wikimedia developer account creation page. Okay, so now this is IDM, that is called Identity Manager. Okay, you will learn about this maybe in the next call. So just like go on this page. Let me share this. And if somebody has not created account, please create account here. Okay, just you can have username. Try to keep the username same that you have created for the MediaWiki account. Just try to keep the username same. Okay. Still, SSH still you can have anything here. SSH still username. Okay, and then email. And after that, you can have password and confirm password. I'm not going to do here. Okay, you can do that. And it would be better if somebody will share a screen so I can walk through with that. Is it possible, sir, to share a screen and like it would be easy for them to understand?
I think they can do it. You can go ahead with the next step.
Okay, all right, cool. So you can just make this, okay, and just click on create account. Once this process will done, you will be head over to this dashboard. Okay. So once you are done with this, you will see the dashboard that is changes. There's the open changes, merged, abandoned. You will come to know about this. Okay. There's a use, like you can see the dashboard of yours if you want to see. Browse if you want to work on any repository, that is you will find all the repository that is on MediaWiki ecosystem. Okay. Like if you want to contribute into the MediaWiki, you will find all the repository. For example, if I want to search like any extension here, MediaWiki slash extensions. You can see here MediaWiki extensions. So we'll find all the extensions from here. This is the extension name APC AWS. Okay, so you can research this whole thing. Now, so if you want to contribute to the Gerrit, then you need to create a SSH key. So let me walk through how you can create this key. Just come back to our developer playbook. Once your account has been created, then add your SSH key to Gerrit. So how you can create the SSH key? Now let me come back to the PPT. First, everyone, please run this command: git config -l. Okay, I would like to go with the git bash. First, make sure you have done with the credentials that you can see here. Symbolic link first, credential as manager. Let me just zoom in. User.email, user.name. In it, make sure this has been configured. How you can configure this? I'm sharing the link to all of you. So from here, first run this command git config dash dash global space user.email and then write the username, the name, email ID that you have used for your Gerrit account. Okay, listen carefully. Here, use the user email that you have used for the Gerrit account. So just use this email ID. After that, git config dash dash global. Okay, can I skip this, sir? This person?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right. I have shared the documentation, guys. Please follow this. Okay.
I will also be sharing this PPT with you if you need any help. I for this call, I will also be sharing that PPT with you.
Yeah, sure. Okay. After that, you can just go with this command git config dash 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 global user. Once the configuration done, then you can go with the SSH key portion. Okay, just ls and then filled. You can just let me show the git, right. I hope my screen is clear here. So if you want to see whether you have SSH folder or not, then you can simply run this command. Okay, so you can see here, I have already created SSH key for Gerrit, GitHub, and GitLab. Just go with the GitHub. Okay, how you can create SSH key? You can see the command here, SSH hyphen keygen, and then hyphen T ed25519. You can go with the documentation. Everything has written on our developer playbook. Okay. After that, what you have to do, just copy the SSH key that is a public SSH key. There's a two types of keys, public and private keys. So what you have to do, you have to add the public key to your Gerrit SSH cell. Let me show you. Just if you'll go on the Gerrit dashboard, once you will create SSH key, then just click on this setting. And after that, just you can see here SSH keys. Click there. And I have already added 3 SSH key here. Okay, so you can just paste the key that you have copied from there, and I have already shown you what command you have to use for copy the SSH public key that you can see here. Cat command you can use in git bash. After that, like once you will copy this command, simply paste the keys that you're having. Let me show you what is my public key. You can see here you will find these types of keys. Okay, this is the public key. Once you will like add here, just make sure it is like a status is valid, and you can check there also. Okay, after that you have to add the private key to your agent. How you can add the private key to the agent? You can see, sorry, my bad. So here you can use the eval command, eval, and this command you can use SSH agent test. Let me just run this so that you can see like what is the agent, how it works. Eval. Okay, yeah, I'm going with this. I would like to go from here. Yeah. Okay, so you can see here is my agent PID 173. That is 173 is my agent PID. So you have to add the private key to your agent. How you can add the private key to the agent? You can just copy the private key. No need to, sorry, no need to copy the private key. Just you have to run this command that I have already like added here. SSH add SSH ID, and this is the private ID. Okay, this is the private key, and if you will find .pub, that is the public key. So you have listen carefully. You have to add the private key to the Gerrit SSH field, and add the private key to the agent. So let me show you. Once you will done with the public key, simply use this. You can use this, and then you will be able to add. Okay. So actually, my file name is different that you can see here. It's ed25519 Gerrit. Okay, I have already added it. You can go with this command. Then you will be able to add the private key to your agent. After that, it's time to check. So how you can check whether the SSH key has been successfully added or not? Just use this command. What you have to do here, replace cell user with exact cell ID that you have created while you are creating the developer account. So at that time, there was option cell. I don't know how many of you have seen. This is SSH access cell. Okay, this is the cell username. So you have to use that cell username here. So my cell username is, let me add this. You can replace this cell user with your actual username. Now you can see like 1 minute. Okay, now it is asking passphrase. If you have already added the passphrase, then you need to add here the password. And once you will done, then you can find if someone like if somebody was doing this parallelly, if you are getting this message on your screen, so your SSH key has been successfully connected. Okay, and you have successfully set up your SSH key. So this is the process. Okay, in the summary, I would like to tell what you have to do. First, create account on developer. Okay, create a developer account that you can see on our playbook. Everything has been written here. How to create a developer account? Everything has been written here. Link is there. Okay, after creating developer account, you need to go on the Gerrit, log in with the developer account. After that, create SSH key. I have already given the command to generate SSH key. Once SSH key done, copy the public key ID and then paste it on the Gerrit SSH field. After that, just give the private key to the agent. Then you can do with the test. You are ready to go with the test. So this all from my side. Any doubt here? I know it was like complex. It can be complicated for some people. Yeah, but like this technical steps, you have to go with that.
Cool. Any questions related to this, guys? You can put in the chat box. Aditya, the chat is around 1 minute latency in the chat, so let's wait for them to put it.
Okay, okay, sure.
Cool. On the second session or a third session, we have Agamya with us, who will be taking a short session on what mistakes you should not do being a developer at Road to Wiki or Wiki Club Tech. What are the things you should keep in mind while contributing once you set up with your fabricated IDs, or once you're set up it with your key? What are the common mistakes which you should not do? For example, spamming a maintainer, texting them so many times. So what are the few things, what are the tips that we should keep in mind while contributing to these few things? Agamya has been into our community from a long time. He's also a part of Google developer group. Agamya has really good knowledge on open source, so feel free to connect with Agamya. Aditya and Agamya, if you can share your LinkedIn ID so that they can connect with you if they have any doubt Or if they, or guys, if you have any questions, you can directly ask in the group. I think Agam and Aditya already are in the group. They can directly uh, take that question from there. Yeah, Agamya, over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Ankit sir. Uh, I hope that I'm audible and visible also because
Yeah,
yeah. Okay. So okay, thank you everyone for coming, and I hope you're having a wonderful evening. So I myself Agamya. So today I'll be sharing about what all things you should avoid and what all things you should take care of while contributing to open source. So let me share my screen. So okay, I'll share my screen.
works, works.
Okay. I hope my screen is visible. Okay.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. So there are quite a few things which you need to keep in mind while contributing to open source. Uh, Code of conduct is one of them. So if you people who are not familiar with the code of conduct, so it's basically a set of rules which you should follow to communicate with the Wikimedia ecosystem or in general with any other ecosystem which you are working with. So there are set of rules which you need to follow. Now these set of rules includes certain habits which you need to follow, certain courtesy which you need to have when you are interacting with someone of a higher position than you. So these are the set of rules which you need to follow. So, there's a link for MediaWiki. So open this on the new tab. So if you so this is the link for the MediaWiki code of conduct link. So if you open this link, also if someone can share this link in the chat, so this is basically the code of conduct for it.
Yeah, you can go ahead. We have shared that link, Agamya. Yeah.
Okay, so you can read the code of conduct which the Wikimedia ecosystem follows. So this is a brief overview. So there are certain principles which you need to follow. Then there are certain behavior pattern which you should follow. So if someone is, you might have heard about the news where there is a cohort, Namaste, that which uh, you must have seen an incident where multiple people started contributing, basically spamming on the Node.js open repository, open source repository. So I think it was some other cohort which you must have familiar with. So definitely we don't want our people from WikiCryptech doing the same thing. So you should definitely not this you should not definitely spam the open source ecosystem. Then we have uh, yeah. So always communicate which each with everyone with kindness and professionally. So an example of this would be so a few times back some user contacted me, so he needed some help. He basically needed his account to get approved. So that particular person messaged me that please can you help me with the get my account get approved. So when I went to this profile, so I saw that some of the things which he has done which is not good. So if that particular person is here in this meeting, so please don't feel bad, because in a community we learn from each other mistakes. So if I show this, so it will be uh, so so a few time back a particular user reached out to me, so you can see that this particular user has claimed many tasks. So this is ideally not recommended. So you should only take up task one at a time. First rule is this, that you only take the task one at a time, and you should work on only one task instead of like taking up many tasks and assigning to yourself, because there are other people also who want to contribute. So it's not a good habit that you claim multiple tasks and also you should like maintain some sort of professionalism while communicating with the message. So behavior like this is not recommended. So this is not a very, so you need to understand the person who is reading this message. So if you write this message on a public forum, so the people who will read this message will take you not that much seriously, because this message looks not that much mature. It looks quite immature. So you should try avoid doing such things. So it's not a good habit. So it's usually recommended that you should follow some sort of professionalism while communicating in these public forums. Then I think okay. Then the next thing is getting familiar with the developer account. So as Aditya mentioned, there is something called IDM. So identity IDM stands for basically identity management. So get this Wikimedia ecosystem uses what's called the basically it's an IDM. So IDM stands for identity management. So Phabricator, Gerrit, and GitLab. So all these accounts are linked with the Wikimedia single sign-on. So single sign-on is basically a service using which you create one account on the single sign-on. Then using that same account, you can connect with different platforms, which comes under the same project. So in this case, Wikimedia, we have the Wikimedia single sign-on, which is the IDM. Once you create your account on IDM, you can use the same account to log in on different services such as Gerrit, GitLab, and Phabricator. So next up, we have start small. So make sure that when you're working on the open source project and you're not that much familiarized with the project, so it's usually recommended to start with the small tasks. So as Prateek also mentioned, so pick up tasks which are small, which are quite easy. For example, as Prateek mentioned, getting the list of all the email of all the users. So this is a task which can be done easily. You can think of, let's say, if the project is using SQL, you can think of a query where you can get the email of all the users. It could be a simple query such as select email from user table. So these all are tasks quite easy to do as compared to the tasks which are not that much easy, which are of much broader perspective. Then these are like good first tasks are also a better way of understanding the code base. Let's take an example. Let's say there's a repository. Let's say it's MediaWiki core repository. You need to contribute on the MediaWiki core software. So there's a task on README which asks you to document the particular function. So once you contribute to the README file, which is basically the documentation part of it, you get to read the software. Then you write the particular documentation of it. So for writing the documentation, you need to read the code. The only difference is you're reading a small part of the code, which is easier to understand and grasp. Then the next thing is you might get overwhelmed with the huge project. So it is natural. So you must have attended many sessions under the Wikicryptic, which teach you the same thing again and again. So it's not about always like getting your contribution done. Sometimes you might fail. The important thing is that you need to keep on trying on. This is the most important thing. It might take some time. It might take few days, few months. It might also even take few years, but you need to be consistent with it. Then next up, we have research thoroughly. So before contributing, okay, I have a question for everyone. So when you get a task, so how do you start contributing? So do you take the code, like take the issue and start coding immediately, or do we need to do something before that? So this is a question for everyone in the chat. So how do you start a contribution? Let's say there's a issue regarding let's say the logo of the image or logo on the website is not in the correct orientation. So what should be the best approach to solve this problem? Okay, so there are certain comments. I will understand the issue. So okay, that I have given you example. So let's say the example is the logo on the website is not in the correct order. When I'm switching to mobile mode, the logo is uh, not in the proper orientation. Okay, so let's some you are saying trying to understand, trying to reproduce the issue. Okay, okay, check the code. Okay, so okay, uh, okay, so the answers which you people have given are also good, but one thing I would like to add is after you understand the code, after you are able to reproduce the code, you need to basically plan what are your chain of thoughts and what is your plan of action. Basically, what steps are you going to take to fix the problem? Then propose that particular change to the maintainer of the code. Then, based upon his feedback, if he says, let's say the code is good, then you will go ahead with the implementation. If he gives some feedback on the code, okay, the approach which you have given, you should basically do some modification to it, then do the implementation. Now, if you do this, this will simplify the not only your contribution part, but it will also save a lot of time for the maintainer, because the maintainer now already knows which approach you are using. So when he or she will review the code, it will be much more easier. So this is a very good habit to research the code before and before contributing, then creating a plan of action which you will take to solve that particular issue. So this is what I feel that many of you, when contributing to the open source ecosystem, you people lack. So this is a good habit which you need to develop. Then also, yeah, this is also a good thing, because you should, after you research thoroughly, you also avoid duplicating the work. So you might be thinking of a solution, but maybe someone has already tried that approach and it did not work. So it's good that once you discuss with the maintainer most probably would be aware if you are doing a certain work which is basing a duplicate work. Okay, next up we have user Phabricator. So you must have heard about Phabricator 100 times till now in this session. So one more last time. So Phabricator is basically a place where you can track all your tasks. It is a good platform because almost every issue, every bug which user is facing, or any feature request comes on the Phabricator only. So this is a must platform which you should be aware of it, and you should know how to use it, like use it to the full potential. What are the different features it offers? What are the different things which you can do on Phabricator? So it's must skill to have. Not only Phabricator, so once you go into your particular company, so they have their own internal tools. For example, there is Jira, then there is a ServiceNow, and there also like Salesforce. So once you go in an MNC company, all these companies have their similar issue tracking tools. So it's a good habit. So once you get used to the Phabricator, it would be much more easier if you go into certain company. It would be a seamless experience. So it's a good habit if you are able to use Phabricator effectively. Also, this is also a good place where you can search your good first tasks. So all the good first tasks are basically listed on this also. There are certain tasks which are there on GitLab and GitLab and GitHub also, but Phabricator serves as the main source of truth. So it's usually recommended to search first on GitHub, then moving on to other platforms like GitHub and GitLab. So I hope any questions till now, if anyone is having, they can put it in the chat. I'll see it.
Guys, if you have any questions related to this, you can ask it in the chat box, or if you can use emoji and say all good to go to the next part. Cool. I think we can go to the next part.
Okay. Okay. I'm I think this should not be the case, or I think some of you would be who might have understood everything, but there would also be certain students in the session who might have not have understood anything. So this is not unusual thing. So you might not be able to understand few things of it. So that's not a problem. The main thing I would advise you would be to not to lose hope. So it's not always about winning. It's not always about uh, getting your code pushed and then getting your code merged. So it's not always about that. It's about learning. So you should always stay consistent, even if you're not able to understand uh, few things, or let's say you're not able to understand anything, but you should at least attend the session, try to make efforts, because one day or the other you will be able to figure out how all of this works. And we have use of Gerrit. So again, you must have heard about Gerrit, what Gerrit is. Uh,
Yeah, before going next, Agamya, we have few questions. Let me help you with that.
okay.
Pushpit is asking if we want to exit any task we pick completely, then what to do, like rebase it or something else.
Okay, so you said you want to exit any task. So I think by that you meant you took a particular Phabricator ticket, then you pushed a particular code, and then you want to exit the task. I think this is what the question was.
Is it correct, Pushpit? Yes.
Yes, okay. So it's not an issue. You can write, so you can basically, let's say you put a task, you were not able to contribute, you were having some difficulty, or you have some time commitment issues. You can basically just go on the Phabricator and let then say, okay, I won't be able to work on this task. So you can basically be truthful and mention in the reason you are not able to contribute, and you can give a genuine reason. Let's say you have some time commitment issue, and basically pass on that particular task to someone else so that someone else can contribute. So there's no issue that, okay, you took up a task, you didn't complete, so this is going to harm your score, because no one is keeping a track of it. And also at the end of the day, this is a volunteer program, so it's not like compulsory that you took up a task, you need to complete it. If you think that it's out of your scope, you can give up the task and someone else can take up the task. I
Uh,
guess
yeah,
this solves it out.
yeah, that really help, Agamya. One thing I really want to add in this, guys. One recommendation from all of you: don't claim lot of tasks at once. I've seen people claiming hundreds of tasks at once and not doing anything. So that would really impact. So please don't do that. If you think you can do that, please claim one or two tasks at one time. uh, those who are not getting what we are talking about, so first you need to set up your SSH key, then Phabricator IDs, and then if you have any doubt, we have mentors. We will be releasing official mentors name on the group of you, or you can ask your questions directly in the group. Mentors are already in the group, they will directly take it from there. But please take help from mentor before pushing it to a code base, because that would really help. So please do that before doing that, otherwise it will be very hard for us. So please take help from mentor Agamya, Aditya, or anyone from in the group if you are doing that, so that we can help you uh, at the best. So one more question we have from Somesh: is it better to propose a solution idea to the maintainer before coding, or submit code directly and then explain later?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, that you should, before contributing the code, you should submit a basically a set of steps which you will be taking to solve the issue. So it's better to propose, basically list basically list your actions which you are taking. So yes, so you should do it before submitting the code. So submit the code afterwards. Before, you should explain the code, then submit the code. So this is always the best case which is recommended. Okay.
I think we can go next. Yeah.
Okay. So next up we have clear commit message. So I'll take up an example. So this is Gerrit, and so if you will go and Gerrit, and we'll start looking at let's say this particular task. So if you see this, okay, this is not a good example of it. So some other example will be, let's say, okay, this is a better example. So this is basically an example of basically the user is, so okay, I'll not be explaining the task. So if someone can guess what this particular commit is about based on the commit message this particular task has done, so can anyone explain what this particular task is doing? So if someone, if you're not able to see the screen, I'll increase the font size. I hope this is visible now. Okay, fixing a typo error. Anything more if someone wants to add? Okay, so yeah, as Karthike mentioned, so this is actually fixing a typo. It's not only fixing the typo, but it's also mentioning that it is fixing the correct spelling of compatibility. So compatibility, and this also tells you that so it is also telling what spelling was wrong. So this basically the previous spelling of compatibility was missing the I, letter I in it. So this is also explaining it. So as you can see, just by reading the description of this particular commit message, I can figure out what this particular task is doing, this particular patch is doing. So if any maintainer would go through this particular task, he or she will immediately know, okay, this is what the user is trying to do, and then I can go ahead with the approval of the task and merging it. So if you follow this proper structuring of the commit message, then it basically increases the chance of getting your task merged immediately. So as you can see, this task got merged, I think, within the 1 hour. So when the particular contributor submitted the code, it got merged immediately. So this is what the advantage is of writing a clear and a clear commit message. So this is what you should follow. Basically, the format which you have to follow is make sure the commit message which you are writing, it clearly explains what things have you changed, and if possible also explain the what steps have you taken. For example, in this case, the particular contributor has added the letter I. So this is explaining how the particular user has fixed the particular issue. So this is a good example of it. So if you're not able to figure out how you should like what is the correct message or correct way of writing a git commit message, so you can read other people's messages, how they are writing. So this is also a good starting point of it. And then you will see also you also when you're pushing a particular patch set on a Gerrit, GitHub, or anywhere else, it's important that you should also mention the particular ticket ID, because when you're pushing any change to the GitHub, it must be having some sort of origin. So the origin in our case is a Phabricator ticket or a GitHub issue. So it's easy for the maintainer also to know to which particular ticket is the particular using submitting a patch set. So this gives the maintainer also a bit of context how what the user is trying to do and what the user is trying to fix. So if you only submit the patch but won't mention the ticket ID, so this confuses the maintainer. Okay, which bug is the user trying to solve, or which feature is the user trying to implement. So once you give the ticket ID, it saves you a lot of time, because once, okay, let's say you didn't mention the ticket ID in your particular commit message and send the patch set as it is, then the maintainer will ask, okay, to which particular ticket are you contributing to? So then you will comment back, okay, I was fixing this particular bug on this ticket ID. So this creates a lot of friction. Also, it wastes a lot of time, both for you and also the maintainer. So it's not a good habit. It's a must recommended to mention the ticket ID along with the descriptive commit message. Then we have test thoroughly. Also, once I've seen many users that once they wrote a particular, let's say they wrote the code and fixed the bug, how many of you actually do tests? So there are different tests on it. There's unit test, then there is component test, then there is integration test. So as Pratik also mentioned, there is CI/CD pipeline. The CI part takes care of this unit test cases. So it's a good habit. Once you make changes to the code, run the tests. So all the repositories which are there on MediaWiki have a test case, test suite, which you should execute before submitting the code. Because if you won't run the test locally, Once you submit the code, it will run on the CI pipeline on the Gerrit, let's say, or GitHub. So it will fail the test there. So this will waste your time. So if you had ran the particular test locally, you would have known the error beforehand. Then you can fix the code and then submit the code. Then when all the errors are fixed, it will get merged immediately. But if you won't test the code locally, it will go on the CI pipeline and it will fail the test. Then you will make changes again. So this increases the lot of time and also waste a lot of time for you also, but also for the maintainer also, because the tests are failing. So the reviewer is not able to review the code accordingly. Then communicate effectively. So as I mentioned, so before you start contributing on any task, you should uh, basically give a brief description of what you're trying to do and what steps are you taking. So this is very important that you communicate clearly and concisely. So I've seen many of you giving the prompt to LLM, let's say ChatGPT or Gemini, then generating a long message and then posting on the GitHub or Phabricator. Now, I can tell you that no one wants to read this entire message. You can write it in 3 or 4 lines. Means it's not a compulsory that you have to write in 3-4 lines. Try to use the minimum words, and if there's a grammatical error, you can fix it using LLM, but I would also try to avoid, because if your particular text, which is you have written on your own, it is able to explain the problem to the other person, even if there is some grammatical error, there's no one judging you here, because this is no sort of English exam or English competition which you have to pass. The main objective of yours should be able to communicate clearly. You're able to make the other person understand what problem you're facing or what you're trying to do. So it's not like that you have to write a properly formatted message using ChatGPT or Gemini. So try to avoid, I would say, avoid in all the cases. If there's a certain exception, let's say you have to write the particular, you have to format, use it, but use it at a very minimum. Like it should not be obvious to the other user that you are trying to use. Then also, when I've seen many people that when they ask their doubts, they simply say that, okay, I'm facing this error. Now the other person who might be reading your message might not have any context. What were you doing when you faced this error? You should tell them, you should give them more context. Okay, I was trying to, I basically executed this command, then I executed this command, then I executed this command, and then they faced this error. So this gives the other person who is trying to help you more context. In, let's say you only wrote, I am getting this error, then the other user who is reading will ask, okay, what steps or what command did you executed when you face the error? Then you will give him another reply. So this also takes a lot of time. So a better way would be to give the user the entire context which you were talking about, then mentioning what the particular error you were facing. Also, it also, as I mentioned, it speeds up the review process and also the other communication part of it. Then we have being patient. So this is also a thing which I have seen in the community. Okay, I have sent a patch, all the CI tests are passing, all the test cases have passed, unit tests have passed, integration testing have passed. I have gotten a green tick on Gerrit, but no one maintainer is there to merge my code. So you need to understand that at the end of the day, everyone who's working on this platform is a volunteer. So you are also basically a volunteer. The person on the other side, which is the maintainer, is also a volunteer. So he or she might not be available at that moment to merge the code. So it might take some time. It might take some days. It also might take some months, sometimes even years. So this is a natural process. So you can't force someone to, okay, I will get my task merged, get my task merged. So be patient. And if someone also, it also acts the other way. If let's say someone messages you, so you should be responsive. Let's say you were working on a particular task, Phabricator ticket, then you started working on it. Then for 2-3 months, you didn't do anything. Then the particular maintainer came back and he's asking, okay, are you still working on the task? You didn't reply. So this is not a good habit. So it's usually advised to be active and be responsive. And if you plan to, let's say, maybe you won't be available for a moment, you can directly write on the particular Phabricator task or ticket that, okay, I won't be available for so and so moment. So you can, like, basically not being a hindrance in someone else's task. So um, basically inform the particular person beforehand. And yeah, so also also I've seen many people that, okay, I have sent a particular patch set on Gerrit. All the test cases are passed, but the maintainer has given me some feedback. So I'm not able to understand what that feedback is. So it's, if you're not able to understand what the particular maintainer has given the feedback, you can ask the question to them by directly by replying on that particular uh, thread. Or you can also ask on the Phabricator, like, okay, this particular maintainer has given me some feedback, but I'm not able to understand. So it's also a good skill to to be able to understand what the reviewer has asked you. So then we have contributing beyond code. So it's not that, okay, it's not like you started contributing on a code, you sent a patch set and it got merged. So it's not like everything is over. Like you can still contribute to the code by writing the documentation part of it, because you wrote the code. Now you only know the logic of it. But if it's a small function, that it's not an issue. But let's say you wrote a function which is of 100 lines or 200 lines. So the other person who will come after you, who he or she might not be aware what that particular function is doing. So it's usually a good habit to follow a documentation process. So when the other user comes, he or she is also able to understand what thought process did you use to implement a particular function. So this also helps the user also. And also, you must be aware that all the LLMs which you use, ChatGPT or Gemini, for your contribution, they rely on the documentation part of it. So it's also a good practice to write a documentation which is not only for the namesake, but it also is able to describe the function accurately. So some people just write a generic uh, documentation. Let's say example, the function is taking X input and it's giving Y input. So this is not a descriptive descriptive documentation. You should write up a descriptive documentation. Let's say, okay, this function is taking the username and email and then returning the hash value. So you should write a descriptive documentation. Also, you can also help not only with the contribution part of it. Let's say while using the software, you found some bug and you are absolutely sure, okay, this is a bug on not only your side, but it is a common bug for everyone. So once you're sure, you can also report bugs on it. So this is how the Phabricator tickets are created. So you can also work on the other side of it, of creating a Phabricator task. But it's also be 100% sure. This is make sure that the bug which you are facing is not only on your machine. So you can also check on someone else's machine. Okay, if that user is also facing the same bug, then you can report the bug. So basically, the moral of the story is that you should be 100% sure the bug which you are facing is not only on your machine. So if you're sure that it's a common bug for everyone, you can report the bug on the Phabricator also. So there are certain channels which you can using which you can report the bugs. Also, you can help with the translation part of it. So as you must be aware that MediaWiki and Wikimedia, it runs on different languages. So almost it covers all the language which are present on the world. So once we write the software, so usually we write the software in English language, but some people, not some, it's obvious that the particular tool which you're building would be used by other community, which might not be aware of the English language. So you can help how the internationalization works, how the translation works. So you can also contribute to those tasks also. And then would be, I think that would be all. If someone else has any question, they can ask in the chat.
Good guys. If you have any question, ready to ask it in the chat box. If not, we are good to wrap up the session. But I think you got it. What Agamya shared. Please keep this in mind while contributing. But get started with the first thing, uh, making account and then setting up the keys. Cool. Cool. Thank you, Agamya, for joining. Thank you so much for giving them such informative. Um, it was a very informative session. They might have learned a lot of things. Um, I'll just share my screen and just wrap up this session.
Okay. Thank you, Ankit sir. Thank you for everyone for this wonderful time.
Cool. I hope you got it, guys. Please download this developer playbook by scanning this QR code. Guys, thank you so much for joining. It was wonderful having you, and cool. Let's connect on Tuesday. Till then, be safe. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I will be sharing the PPT on